Welcome back to BroQuest, where we explore major historical events in short, easy-to-understand episodes.
In our previous video, we discussed the causes of World War I, including nationalism, militarism, alliances, imperialism, and the assassination that triggered the conflict. Now that we understand why the war began, this episode focuses on how the war was actually fought on the ground and how it changed warfare forever. World War I involved more than 30 nations. The two main sides were the Allied powers, including Britain, France, Russia, and later the United States, and the Central Powers, led by Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. Most of the intense fighting took place in Europe, particularly on the Western Front between France and Germany. We'll now focus on the most interesting fact of World War I, the strategies that were used. One of the defining features of World War I was trench warfare. Both the Allied and Central Powers built complex trench systems that stretched from the North Sea to the Swiss border. The trenches were divided into frontline, support, and reserve positions, and were separated by a dangerous area called no man's land. But fighting in trenches is easy? Not at all. Conditions in the trenches were extremely difficult. Soldiers faced constant exposure to mud, cold, and disease. Hygiene was poor, and infestations of lice and rats were common. Many developed trench foot, a serious medical condition caused by prolonged exposure to wet and unsanitary conditions. Several key battles took place along the Western Front. The Battle of the Somme in 1916, led by British General Douglas Haig, was one of the deadliest and introduced the use of tanks. The Battle of Verdun, mainly between France and Germany, became a symbol of French resilience. These battles often resulted in high casualties with minimal territorial gains. World War I also introduced new military technologies. Tanks were developed by the British to overcome trench obstacles. Poison gases like chlorine and mustard gas were used first by Germany and then by other nations. Machine guns dominated battlefields, and aircraft began to be used for reconnaissance and combat. These innovations increased the scale and intensity of casualties. Not only this, but the war was not only fought by the soldiers, but also by the citizens. The war extended beyond the battlefield. It became a total war, involving entire populations and economies. Women replaced men in factories. Governments introduced rationing and promoted national unity through propaganda. Leaders like Kaiser Wilhelm II of Germany and David Lloyd George of Britain mobilized industries and civilian resources to support the war. Hence, World War I reshaped modern warfare. The combination of trench fighting, industrial weapons, and civilian mobilization made it one of the most devastating conflicts in history. In our next episode, we will look at the major turning points that shifted the balance of the war.